When it comes to conservationists, Steve Irwin is probably the most famous out there. Through his show, The Crocodile Hunter, Irwin reached millions of viewers and taught an entire generation to appreciate even the lowliest of Earth's creatures. He expanded the Australia Zoo, became a role model of the highest order, and passed on his work to his family upon his death. But none of that could have been accomplished if it wasn't for Steve Irwin's similarly impressive father, Bob Irwin. According to Bob Irwin's book, The Last Crocodile Hunter, the father of the great crocodile hunter began his life as a plumber, before following his dream and making a name for himself in the world of conservation. Before long, he opened the Beerwah Reptile Park in 1970, which later became the famous Australia Zoo. But before all of that happened, Bob was teaching Steve conservation through education, a principle the crocodile hunter molded into his world-renowned documentary series. And somehow, even after all this, Bob Irwin left Australia Zoo, and the reason has only recently come to light. In the wake of Bob Irwin's departure from the Australia Zoo in 2008, a confusing yet hard-hitting Facebook post by his granddaughter, Bindi Irwin, accused the man of ignoring her for years and being psychologically abusive. It's quite possible the family's problems were kept out of the spotlight while things fell apart behind the scenes. But it seemed like nobody knew this was going on until Bob was already gone. Bob must have sensed this on some level because he quoted one of the reasons for his departure as having become a, quote, disrupting influence on the park. He'd felt like he wasn't welcome there, according to the West Australian, and with regards to his feelings about the park, he believed it had been moving in the wrong direction for a while at that point. It was more of a, quote, circus than a conservation centre in his eyes, and he hated seeing what he'd built follow a totally different path. So, Bob left.
I felt it was just better for everybody concerned if I left Australia Zoo.
The elder Irwin also implied that the direction of the park isn't something Steve would have wanted either. Thanks to the publicity Steve Irwin brought to the Australia Zoo through the Crocodile Hunter, not to mention the park's expansion over the years, it had to have been worth several times more than when Bob gave the park to Steve and his wife Terry after they married. But since the first Irwin conservationist still had a stake in the park from being a founder, he didn't walk away from the Australia Zoo empty-handed. When Bob sold the park to his son, he did so under unconventional terms. Steve and Terry didn't have the money to buy the park outright, so Bob settled for a retirement package to be paid out whenever he calls it quits. According to the New Zealand Herald, the terms weren't tiny either. Bob was paid a $1 million severance outright, plus a pension of around $100,000 per year. It's not a bad deal in terms of money, but Bob still had to leave a place that was a part of him, and it's unclear if he'll ever be able to return. After Bob left the Australia Zoo and the other Irwins behind, things started to look messy. To start with, something small and mostly inconsequential. You'd be hard-pressed to find Bob Irwin's name anywhere on the Australia Zoo website. If it's there, it's not easy to find, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. As News Hub mentions, the feud between Bob and the younger Irwins escalated, and Bindi prevented him from attending her wedding. And if that's still not bad enough, Bob Irwin feels like he can't visit his son's burial site because it's at the zoo, according to reports. The feud seems to be a two-way street though, and it's unclear which of the parties involved started the whole thing. For example, Bob returns the family's gifts and they believe he ignores them, while Bob thinks they're doing the same to him on their end. In reality, it seems like an especially tough nut to crack for everybody, regardless of which side they found themselves on. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.